Good evening and welcome to the Channel Studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. US President Donald Trump has urged everyone involved in efforts to end the Gaza war to move fast as mediators are set to meet in Egypt for indirect peace talks between Hamas and Israel.
But there'll always be some changes. But the Hamas plan, I tell you, it's amazing. You're going to have peace, if you think about it, peace in the Middle East for the first time in, they say, really 3,000 years. So I'm very honored to be a big part of that.
The talks come after Hamas agreed to some parts of a 20-point US peace plan, including freeing hostages and handing over Gaza governance to Palestinian technocrats. But it is seeking negotiations on the other issues. The group's response did not mention the key demands of its disarmament and playing no future role in Gaza's governance.
Bien, mesdames et messieurs, bonjour à toutes et à tous. Je suis heureux, par l'intermédiaire de la presse, de m'adresser.
France's Prime Minister Sébastien Lecornu has resigned less than a day after his cabinet was unveiled. The Élysée Palace made the announcement after Lecornu met President Emmanuel Macron for an hour on Monday morning. The shock move comes only 26 days after Lecornu was appointed, following the collapse of the previous government. Parties across the board in the National Assembly had fairly criticised the composition of Lecornu's cabinet, which was largely unchanged from the previous one and threatened to vote it down. Hikers caught in a shock blizzard near Mount Everest have spoken of experiencing hypothermia as they battle relentless snowfall while rescuers continue to evaluate scores of people. At least one hiker has died and more than 200 are still stranded on Everest's eastern slopes in Tibet, an area popular with climbers and hikers. Snowfall began on Friday evening and intensified over the weekend. Rescuers have guided 350 people to safety in the small township of Qudang. Israel says it has deported 171 activists from the Gaza-bound global Sumud flotilla to Greece and Slovakia, among them Greta Thunberg. The pro-Palestinian group had already announced overnight that the Swedish activist would be flown out to Greece today. She was among more than 450 activists detained by Israel when its military intercepted the flotilla last week.
First we were kidnapped in international waters. Then they took us to land, and once on land, they behaved like a terrorist group. People were kicked. We were left without fresh water for over 2 days. Overall, they took every opportunity to humiliate any of us. We were treated like terrorists because we thought we were terrorists. So I was unlucky enough to get out just while Ben-Gvir was coming. And so the police used very, very tight handcuff on us.
New Zealand's government has paid Samoa $6 million New Zealand dollars after one of its naval ships crashed into a reef in Samoan waters before catching fire and sinking last year. The ship started leaking oil into the ocean after it sank, with reports of sea turtles dying and slicks appearing on nearby Samoan beaches. New Zealand's foreign minister said the payment had been made at Samoa's request. It was the first New Zealand ship to be lost at sea since World War II. Floods have hit parts of southeast Bulgaria, killing at least 3 people, including 2 rescue workers. Hundreds of people in the region have been forced to evacuate their homes and infrastructure has been damaged. A state of emergency has been declared along parts of the country's Black Sea coast, where vehicles have been washed away and homes left without power. Video shows the moment dozens of cars were washed away in the town of Elenite. And balloons carrying thousands of packs of cigarettes have disrupted flights in Lithuania, as Vilnius airport was forced to close for hours when dozens of them floated into the country's airspace. The National Crisis Management Center said that 25 meteorological balloons were detected entering Lithuania from neighboring Belarus, 2 of which ended up directly over the airport. The airport said the shutdown led to 30 flight cancellations affecting 6,000 passengers. It warned there may still be delays on Monday. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel Studios in Lagos.